Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Week 1 of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer 2023 Winter League. My name is Beef Supreme TV, and I'm here commentating this match with none other than Beta Strep. How you doing today?
I'm great, and I'm looking forward to what should be pretty much a top-tier race. All of these guys are very experienced runners, and I expect some solid decision-making and a very tight matchup.
A lot better decision making than I'm capable of. I think everybody is rated on the leaderboards. None of them less than 2,000, if I'm not mistaken. And I know I've been looking forward to this matchup myself. Just seeing these four names when I saw the group pop up in the reveal, it was definitely one that I was looking forward to watching. So I'm actually glad to be able to commentate this one with you.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what they embrace as far as the meta is concerned. Typically speaking, with this particular flag set, with the vanilla search flag being active, people will generally favor some sort of grinding or grind heavy early approach, and then they will basically hunt for Hawksness and try to get the armor as fast as they can once they think they can take down a spike.
Yeah, we've seen our share of easy enough spikes and ones that have been a little bit tougher to get by. So we'll see what this seed has in store for everybody today. All right, looks like the timer started. We're gonna get going shortly. Let's see if we can't see some stats early on and see what we've got to start off with. So these first few chests are going to be standard gold, torch, and gold again up top. We see 25 HP, no MP, so no spells to start off with. 7 and 11 it looked like for strength and agility, so at least we're able to take on some of the weaker Zone 0 enemies.
Yeah, they have just enough HP to damage race certain enemies like Drakies and Ghosts, and of course, with the torch being in the second chest, they can... Oh, we have a fighter's ring as well. Yeah. And a death necklace pickup initially, and it looks like we have a town already, and it's Breckenary, so...
Breckenary right next door, yeah. No chests, though. Let's see what's in the shop. Well, at least the clothes are cheap. Aaron going to check the other chest in Tentagel here, find some more gold, and is going to sit there and grind on it for a little bit, which we know with Breckenary right next door is potentially going to come in pretty handy.
Yeah, it looked like the Flame Sword was basically at a 50% discount, so picking up a Flame Sword right away is going to be very advantageous, especially if Erdrick's Sword is buried somewhere obscure. Flame Sword might be enough to win, because with the random leveling requirements, you could easily get like level 18 or 19 on very little experience.
For sure. Now, Aaron leaving the castle, heading on over to Breckenary immediately. Potentially gonna check for chests first. No, heading to the shop first. I think he doesn't want to, in case there's somebody on a spike tile there. Flame Sword, immediate purchase. Look at that. Magic armor as well. Probably going to pick up that large shield. All kitted out. And I believe down on Ziggy's side we saw a tablet cave just under the castle there. Went and checked the chest. I'm not sure why I saw what was in it, but I recognized it on the way out, I think.
One thing I did notice that Stags did a full reset. Not entirely sure why he did that. He didn't look like he set up a gold grind on the right side of Tantagel like Aaron did, so I'm a little curious. Like maybe he just wanted a higher gold roll or something.
Potentially, we see. Aaron reaching at least level 3 here. Looks like he started to walk that desert up and down, trying to find some good grinding here.
Yeah, and this is what I expect early on in this sort of seed. You're gonna see early commitment to grinding, and then as soon as they gain hurt more or something along those lines, it's just gonna be a mad dash to try to get Hawksness and find Cantlin and things like that.
Oh, there's another town to the west, and looks like the town up north, Stags has just wandered in here, and it's Cole. Gonna pick himself up a little bit of gear. Gonna play it safe and hit the inn before. Well, let's see if he's gonna even try to see if there's a spike tile there or if there's an enemy. Sorry, on the flute. Nope, just wanders out. Level 4 for Aaron, meanwhile, and Aaron finds Hawksness. So yeah, like you say, it's gonna be grind until you manage to be able to take down that spike tile enemy, whatever it is.
Well, we have heal more, so we're getting to that point where it's just as soon as the HP gets a little bit higher, and if you pick up something like Sleep, you can start taking down a lot of different enemies with even some modest stat progression elsewhere.
For sure, and with Sharlock right there, we know we're we know we're out. I don't say we know but we're potentially in for a pretty quick seed here if these levels are generous. Aaron finding Cole, picking up the flute, no treasure guard on it. Yeah, Scarlet Shadow pointing out in chat too that Ziggy's found a good zone with these wolves and metal scorpions. Looks pretty good for him right now.
With this flex set, I definitely approve of grabbing Flute as soon as you find Cole, because you never know when a Golem spike is going to exist, and with the speed hacks flag, the Flute plays lightning quick, so Golem grinding is absolutely OP.
Yeah, Stag's finding that gold chest in the tablet cave. Gonna go and take a look down this stairs. Finds what's potentially a treasure guard here with this golem on it. Dies to it, gets sent back home.
I think the treasure guards are capped at green dragons. I don't believe golems can be a treasure guard. I think it's a range of enemies between goldmen at the weakest end, and I think green dragons are the strongest you can see. And Stags has found Hawksness.
Yeah, Stag's gonna check this spike and finds the Axe Knight. Dies to it pretty immediately, but that's at least good knowledge. You know what exists there. You know what you got to deal with.
Yeah, as soon as Hurtmore comes, that's where you're going to be sitting for probably a good 20 minutes, depending on the experience gaps that are required to be navigated to get the levels.
So while everybody's settling into this early game grind here, let's just make note that we've got 2 more races today. The next one's going to be at 4:30 Eastern with Edge, Ladob, DK9146, and Zarnax, and then another one at 8 p.m. So once this is done, stay tuned. We got a whole day worth of this for you. It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully the 4:30 one doesn't last until 8 though.
For week 1, I highly doubt that. That would take some absurdly bad luck. I think what has transpired in this race is, I believe Stag simply missed that gold chest in the right side of Tantagel, because like if he had seen it, he could have done an instant gold grind like everybody else did, and that's why you're seeing the wild difference in gear between him and the other three runners who have essentially the best equipment in the game, short of Erdrick's armor and Silver Shield.
Yeah, they're all one tier short of the best equipment in the game.
And with the level clustering that tends to happen in this flag set, I mean, we've seen a few seeds already where it's been very gettable with the Flame Sword, which is really important if Erdrick's Sword ends up buried in some convoluted pathway in Sharlock. And we see a Wraith Knight with DL2 take out Aaron.
Yeah, or if the sword happens to be on top grave and you decide not to even bother looking for it, like I did one time. That was my round one, my week one experience. But let's hope it's either easy to find or you don't need it with this. Like you say, with the flame sword, it's entirely doable depending on your stats. With the stats rocketing up pretty quick sometimes, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing theme this week, where we have seen a number of runners that have simply walked past, not seen, overlooked in fairly easily accessible mandatory or near mandatory item like the harp or the stones, something like that. Like, we've seen chests missed in Cantlin and that sort of thing, and as a runner, that is just devastating when you realize that you go through all these other checks and then you come back and you're like, oh no.
Aaron taking another death down in the second floor past the first floor tablet in the basement, dying to a dragon, getting sent back, and looks like he's gonna head back out and grind. Meanwhile, Stags takes a death to looked like a Magidrake, if I'm not mistaken.
In this seed so far, it's not being particularly kind to them as far as the leveling is concerned. I mean, we're seeing level 5 at 536. That's pretty awful, actually. Like in standard flags, you don't even need 100 experience to hit level 5 as a benchmark for where this is relative to where that is. Typically, you expect the leveling to be much faster in this flag set.
Yeah, definitely a slow-going start. Looking at everyone's at level 5 except for Stags, who's down right now at what, not even 200 experience. It's going to potentially cost him unless he makes some kind of play with that everyone else doesn't make, and then finds maybe some necessary gear. Finding the stones or the harp before anybody else. And
yeah, being at a disadvantage of like 18 attack power of Copper Sword versus Flame Sword, it's roughly about 7 damage per swing that 7 fewer points of damage per swing that he's doing with the Copper Sword. And that is going to have massive consequences.
absolutely. Now I see on the left side we've hit level 6 with Aaron and Ziggy both getting there. Didn't quite catch what the spells were though, if any. No, still no spells. Look at that. The seed is definitely not being very kind to them as far as the level ups are concerned.
I mean, it's great that you have heal more, but stat-wise, it's very modest, and like their level progression is just, this is very sloggy by the looks of it.
Yeah, and it looks like Aaron is just going to keep grinding over here, just to the east of, on the east coast here next to the castle, finding this this metal scorpion zone again. Yeah, Ziggy getting kicked out of Swamp North by a green dragon there as well, but did manage to find it.
This is definitely a scenario where you're just begging and pleading to get hurt more on the next level, so you can just make a beeline to Hawksness and rapidly level up from here, because this is just a bad setup to do anything except grinding, because you just don't have the stats to really go anywhere or survive any extended periods of time in a Sharlock zone or a zone that's like Magiwyverns and that sort of thing. Although Aaron did pick up sleep, so he could actually go after Magiwyverns. But
yeah, I mean, depending on how you want to do it, I'm not sure. You might even be able to go and take down that. Might be able to go and take down that Axe Knight if you can get it to sleep.
Nobody would ever do a thing like that. Come on.
Oh, that's something interesting pointed out in the chat from RG here, is that Mand hasn't died yet.
Well, if you avoid the murder bats and you avoid the Wraith Knights and you just sit in the same zone with magic armor and flame sword, it's a pretty good bet that you're going to stay alive. Although it's funny to me that people have been missing stop spells on wolves. Like, the wolves are a relatively low tier monster, so their stop resist cap is extremely low. So you have to be pretty darn unlucky to miss that.
Well, those Wraith Knights really have Aaron's number today.
Yeah, 3/16 stop resist. That's probably pretty close to the maximum that they can actually have.
Aaron making another play, going to Hawksness, trying to make it to that Axe Knight, but he's been having some trouble getting there. Everything's been getting in the way. I feel like if you can make it, you can pretty easily grab that. Here's trying again. Oh no, he's just walked right past it now.
He might have been just looking for a better grind zone. I mean, with these stats, unless you crit the Axe Knight or sleep lock it, as some of us weirder individuals have tried to do in the vanilla game, you're not going to beat him. You need a bit more HP to take that. And, oh, werewolves have sleep.
Yeah, Aaron deciding to continue grinding in that that metal scorpion zone.
And I can totally relate to what Aaron is dealing with in this seed. Like, this is what I often deal with. Like, I skew towards exploration heavy approaches to this randomizer, and if you're bumping into things which can one or two shot you or sleep lock you, it is just incredibly frustrating.
That's definitely a lesson I need to take to heart, because I think I tend to go out exploring a lot earlier than I should. It often ends up not being worth it, which you'd think would teach me a lesson, but I learned slowly.
In this specific scenario with this type of flag set where you know where most of the items are and you already have a flame sword and magic armor, there's not that much of a reason to really push exploration yet. Once you have hurt more, then okay, that's where you clearly should. But at this point, with the stats that they have and the abilities we've seen from monsters on the map, like this seed is very strongly discouraging everybody from really trying to go anywhere.
Now, I'm looking at this. Everybody's noticing, yeah, that Mand has just put on the death necklace, and I can certainly see why, because Cyberdark points out in the chat as well that Breckonary's right next, like literally right next door. So you get kicked out of the castle, you go right next door, and there's Breckonary. The only drawback I'd suppose to that is if there happens to be something in the basement of the castle that's key. I'm not sure Mand knows what's underneath there just yet. I'd say, you know, maybe if you've searched for everything else, you can at least go back to Breckonaria and uncurse yourself. But yeah, unless you've fully explored that basement, it's an interesting gambit.
It's a very creative approach. I mean, I'll hand it to him on that. You do get the boost of 10 attack power, and when your max HP is this low, the punishment for the HP loss isn't that significant. So you can fight your way through things a little bit faster. And having Breckonary there is great because you can just immediately refill. So it's a nice idea, although it is a gamble on the future of the seed where you're basically saying, okay, I'm not going to have a seed where we're going to have 140 HP or something and no attack.
Yeah, that
you're betting that you're not going to need it later. Although it's entirely possible he could play the entire seed with it on, which would be incredible.
It would. Aaron's gonna head down to check some coordinates. I know that Tablet Cave is the first level under the castle, and then the stairs leading down from there, I'm not exactly sure what floor that was, but I know everybody that's gone down there hasn't lived to tell the tale. I mean, I guess they live to tell the tale because they respawn, but they've died pretty quickly going into that second level from green dragons.
And the coordinates were 26 north and 8 west, so I haven't seen a good vantage point of whether or not this landmass hooks around to the left. If it does, the coordinates are definitely walkable. Or if that area to the west extends up enough. I mean, that's like a screen and a half away from start.
Yeah, it's definitely not that far. It looks like from Stags' screen, it looks like just straight north of Sharlock is a little bit of water kind of separating a little peninsula there on the eastern side. So you might have to just kind of walk around to the western side of Sharlock for that. But I'm sure it's, like you say, I'm sure it's not going to be that difficult to count.
And of course, there is a 50-50 chance that there's a treasure guard sitting on top the coordinates. So if you're like in the general area and you see one of those monsters that's in that group, you can just randomly search after you win.
Yeah, that's definitely a tactic I've picked up when I started practicing this. I typically have only played standard flags, but once I started doing this, noticed that, hey, if you find that there's treasure cards, you might, if you end up walking along the right axis, might just stumble upon it just by finding a random treasure card.
So I've noticed Ziggy has a bit of an experience lead now, and he is just fully committed to this grind in this zone with scorpions and wolves. It's like, I'm very curious to see if he will stay over here after he hits level 9. I mean, if the stats don't go anywhere, this will eventually get pretty painful if the experience gap gets significant to the next level and your stats still aren't really going anywhere and you don't have hurt more.
Yeah, the smart play right now might just be what Ziggy's doing. Just sit down, don't get too excited, grind it out till you get a couple more levels.
0, 3, 12, and 5 at level 9. Ay, 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 ay. This is not ideal. This is not ideal, and we're gonna get a speech from the king, and it's okay. Okay, it's only 128 to level 10.
Not so bad to 10, yeah.
That zone might be the solution to that. I mean, this is absurd, but if you get the wolves, you're getting that level in 3 fights.
Yeah, speaking of.
So if people in chat were looking for a race where you see a grind to about 2,000 experience off of wolves and scorpions, you found it. It's right here in front of you.
Looks like Aaron's making a play for this armor again. Made it to the tile. Let's see how this fight goes. Not starting out great.
So at 61 defense, the Axe Knight can hit him for 32 max. So this is a pretty substantial gamble, and he just got exacted. And level 10 gave a lot of HP. So Ziggy
Which Mand is
actually
going to be happy about.
Yeah, Ziggy can now go after the Axe Knight. He has more than enough HP to do it. He could probably swing a couple times before he has to heal more too. So as long as the Axe Knight doesn't have some ability like heal more and high stop resist, this should be winnable.
Yeah, Mand hitting level 10 as well. Oh no, level 11 here now. Well, it looks like another level as well. 8 power, 5 speed, 5 hit points, 4 magic points, and here's return.
So the HP now is looking really good. MP continues to lag well behind. And Stags finds Rimildar and picks up Chainmail.
Aaron making his way to Swamp North, finding a wolf down here. Let's see if he takes that left and heads on down to the spike, or if he's just walking his way through. Yeah, it looks like he's just walking through to see what the other side has to offer.
And the bottom end of Swamp Cave had wings in a chest.
Yep, under Ziggy just ended up finding the armor in Hawksness, where it'll always be. Not necessarily really finding it, but picking up the armor in Hawksness after I think at level 11 decided he had as much HP as he needed to go and take that Axe Knight on.
And we haven't talked about Stags that much, but he is now about 1,200 experience behind Ziggy. So like that one little thing at the start of not checking the right side of Tantagel and spotting that gold chest and getting the gold grind right away with all that gear available has really set him back. So I think the only realistic way for him to get back into the race is if he's able to find Erdrick's sword well before the others do, because that copper sword is just not enough.
No, and like you say, everyone else having had a flame sword pretty much since the start is definitely hurting. Stags, I believe, is the first to get to Gerinham here. Gonna find flame sword, silver shield, but not really anything he can afford right now.
What could save him here is if there's gold in these chests. But unfortunately, the first one is empty. Oh, there's a gold chest. So he has the option to walk through here repeatedly and do a slow grind to get the items. I mean, it would take him, I would say, probably a couple minutes to get enough for the flame sword, and then probably a couple more to get the silver shield. Certainly a thought.
Meanwhile, Mand down here has got the armor, got level 13, got hurt more, and is going to spend the rest of his MP over here grinding and potentially just going to come back again and again and again for the next little bit here.
Yeah, I would say that Mand will probably Death Warp after this and just come straight back, and once he gets the ghost stats, that's when you start pushing out and looking for all these other items and trying to dig through all the cave systems as needed.
Freebie cave without all that much down on Ziggy's side. Has found top of mountain, but decides to back right out of that, which I don't blame him right now, but potentially we might have to head down there in search of some key items eventually. Exactly, key items can wait.
Yeah, that's the general theme of this flag set, and now Stags goes to the right side of Tantagel. I don't know if he spotted the chest, or if he has opened it previously. I wonder if he's opened it previously and the realization hit him that he had the gold grind available at the start. Okay, one of our trackers said Stags did get the chest partway through, so yeah, if the realization hit him at that point that the gold grind is available right at the beginning with all that gear, he's got to feel way behind.
Stags getting stopped up by golems here again and again on this dive.
Yeah, he's walking through a Sharlock zone, and that is not ideal at level 7.
Yeah, it's not being very friendly, which is what you expect of a Sherlock zone for sure. It's not a very inviting place.
Now Ziggy finds Garenham and the staff cave sitting behind it. He almost has enough gold for the silver shield. And now he finds Top of Grave in this twin cave system, and that's
right by
Swamp South right next to it. And Aaron takes down the Axe Knight at level 9, which will give him a nice little pair of level ups with a bunch of HP, and he gets his armor. Yeah,
Now
so
what-
question in chat about Stags falling so far behind level-wise. It's because he missed... There's a gold chest on the right side of Tantagel, and if he had seen it, it would have been a grindable chest at the start of the game, and he missed it. And the other 3 runners saw it, and Breckenary is right by start with magic armor, flame sword, large shield. So yeah, that's what everybody else did, and they've had the advantage ever since.
Mand has gotten to level 16 now. All of the spells, and looks like we're still lagging for sure in some of the stats here. I think your MP is still pretty low, if I saw that correctly. It kind of switched just now, but it's looking like there's going to be a little bit more to go in terms of levels. But we do still have all of the key items missing, except Aaron, who's picked up the token.
Grace is the...
All right, welcome back. We've had a little bit of an outage here, but we're back to being live. So welcome back, everybody. There we go. So a few developments here. We've got, I believe, Ziggy and Mand with the harp. At this point, they found it on top grave. And Ziggy, meanwhile, I believe, is looking through the depths of the grave right now.
Ziggy just picked up Erdrick's sword.
Yeah, and chat pointing out Aaron has the harp as well.
So we have a question in chat about what the race time feed is. So if you go to racetime.gg, in our particular case, like, this is an invite only since it's a tournament race, but the broadcast crew has access to the race time feed for the raw feed in case the restream goes down for whatever reason. I am seeing nothing on Discord. I'm purely watching the race time feed.
Yeah, that means you're a little bit ahead of me, it looks like, as far as video, so I'll leave the calling to Beta Strip for a second while I catch up here.
So by the looks of it, Mand was grinding golems a fair bit. So like the experience situation between Ziggy and Mand is really, really close. Like for all intents and purposes, it's even between the two of them. Now, without access to the tracker and all of that, it's hard for me to know exactly where they are relative to each other as far as all of their items are concerned. I do know that Ziggy picked up Erdrick's sword during his little spelunking adventure via the grave system, as we see there. And seeing Mand in there, I imagine he's picked it up as well, since that was the stair network that led to it. Like it was just a single stairway and you're like right next to a chest, get the sword, and there's a big MP boost on 18 for Ziggy. So Ziggy has got to be approaching go mode stats wise. But I don't think we've seen the Stones of Sunlight yet.
No, I don't think anybody's found the stones just yet.
And they can be in literally any chest. As long as that chest is accessible via an external cave, they can be just about anywhere, which means we might be seeing a lot of diving through multiple convoluted stair systems to find the stones. Like they could be buried somewhere in Sharlock.
If you're looking for a seed that's going to take us a while, if you're comfortable and you don't want to get up for a little bit, then you're going to hope that it's somewhere deep in Mountain Cave.
And Aaron has hit level 14. And he bumps into a golem, but Aaron has the flute, so he's going to go after it, which is exactly the right thing you need to do. If you feel behind, as he should right now, this is what you need to start clawing back that experience gap.
Yeah, definitely an enemy that you start being happy to find every once in a while.
And Scarlet with a very astute comment in chat saying Sharlock Shuffle is going to be very small. Yeah, whenever you see a massive search requirement to find a mandatory item, you can pretty safely assume that when you enter Sharlock proper to dive to find the Dragon Lord, it's probably going to be a very quick route down there, like maybe 1 or 2 possibilities, and that's basically it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there was a match just the other day that had something similar, where all of the multipath levels that tend to run you around was they were all in the overworld. Once you got to Sharlock, it was one quick dead end, another quick dead end, and another staircase that brought you right to the basement.
So Slimu asked in chat, Man got sword during outage? Yes, he did. And he's had the death necklace on pretty much the entire seed, which is truly hilarious.
Yeah, from a start of this seed that took a lot of very slow grinding, a few levels here and there, now we've got pretty much everybody in full-on in exploration mode. Everybody looking for that. Everybody looking for the Stones of Sunlight now.
And poor Stags is sitting behind at level 8. And there's the stones in, what is that? Is that like deep Charlock? I feel like that's that one weird floor, that interior of, I think it's basement 1 Charlock. But Ziggy now has the stones. So I believe that's everything for him. He just needs to do Rainbow Drop and he's good to go.
Yeah, and it does not look like it's going to be doesn't look like it's going to be all that difficult with the stats you're seeing right now. Seems like once you get in Charlock, you're a pretty safe bet. Some quick exploration, find the basement, and that's that.
Okay, so now we finally have a look at our stats again, and we have 155 HP at level 17.
Unless you're manned with his crazy death necklace play, but even then, 120, you're laughing.
And as we see, the MP finally caught up. Like we now have 98 MP at level 18, so this is 12 heal mores. Especially with the death necklace, that's clear-cut go mode.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even worried about that fight, and I'm new and I get into fights I shouldn't, so.
Even without the death necklace, it's still clear-cut go mode. Like, you're at least getting an opening triple, maybe an opening quad, and you're gonna get doubles for days. It's just gonna be a bit of a slower fight.
All right, right side searched and abandoned. We're going over to the left on Ziggy's side here.
Yeah, where did that lead? Was that Mountain 2?
I'll say I was not quite sure. I wasn't looking at that corner of the screen at the moment, and he backed out quicker than I could see. Mountain 2 is confirmed by the chat there.
And Aaron has picked up his Stones of Sunlight, so he now is basically in go mode. And Ziggy has found the bottom of Charlock, and as Scarlet alluded to in chat earlier, whenever you see a convoluted cave system to find your mandatory items before Charlock, once you get to Charlock, it's generally going to be pretty quick, and that has now been proven.
I'd say we'll see if the spike tile can stop him, but I don't see that as being very likely at all. The spike tile is a speed bump. So here we go, Ziggy the Fool. As Aaron goes into Charlock as well now.
Aaron does have Erdrick's sword. I missed when he got that, but apparently he does have it. I just saw him pull his stats up and it showed 129. As far as where sword was, it was... So, on Grave 2, the upper right pair of staircases, if you took one of them, it took you right next to a chest which had the sword.
Heading into the Dragon Lord 2 fight with 116 and no back attack. You got your full 98 MP. Feeling pretty comfortable if I'm Ziggy right now.
And he just rolled a 15, so I'm assuming he put the death necklace on. So yeah, this is basically free as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And don't look now, but Aaron, after trailing by a fair bit for much of the race, is now walking through the basement of Sharlock and on his way to what will likely be a second place finish. Mand had all kinds of problems locating the Stones of Sunlight, and this is what this flag set is about. It's when you get these convoluted routing scenarios to find a mandatory item, and you just happen to take the wrong pathing. It's very easy to lose a race and a big lead just sheerly due to bad luck. Also, I hope chat appreciates the fact that I'm talking about a racer named Mand, and I'm talking about a mandatory item.
Oh, I'm never going to unsee that now. All right, Ziggy just taking the walk back to Tantagel. Get the GGs in the chat. We're about to go have a quick chat with the king because the princess is still locked in the dungeon.
It was like a 5-step walk, and
Oh no!
Ziggy has won the race with a first place time of 54 minutes and 37 seconds.
All right, GG, and we'll see if we can get Ziggy into the chat here to have a few words. Aaron's about to finish off the Dragon Lord as well. Pretty free still, it looks like. Yeah, I haven't been keeping count myself, but thanks anyway, Shihali, for the other count. I think we're getting close to the end here for this Dragon Lord on Aaron's screen, though. There it is, and let's get some GGs out in the chat for aaron2u2 coming in second. Also taking the walk. I was mistaken about Ziggy having rescued the princess, but I'm almost certain Aaron hasn't. Mand making his way down as well to the basement of Sherlock.
And Aaron has finished in second place with a time of 56:06.
All right, here we have Ziggy joining us, the winner of today's race, 54 minutes 37 seconds. How did that one feel?
That one felt like the stones were very, very deep. Also, that has kind of a slow start to it, right? I'm guessing everybody spent a lot of time grinding, trying to get some levels because the overworld was very difficult. But it was kind of a slow start, then everything explored in one go, and then a very long dive. It was kind of a weird seed.
I think it took about 500 XP to get to level 5 or so.
Yeah, about so. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we were noticing that too. The way you described it, the slow grind at the start, and then you pop up a few levels, and you kind of hit these plateaus along the way. Everybody seems to have gone through a pretty similar experience as far as when those plateaus were happening. Everybody just kind of seemed to be either exploring or grinding or digging around the same time.
What I'm surprised though, was I the first to find the stones? Because it was kind of
Yes.
about the last place I had left to explore. Right, I had one stair to look in the bottom right of Sherlock 2, and that was it. So I was hoping that it was there because I was going like, oh no, did I miss a check? Because I briefly had to go back into Cantlin because I forgot to check to the west of the guy. So
Well, the story was you and Mand were pretty solidly in the lead on experience, and that kind of fed into everything else. And as far as the stones were concerned, it was a struggle to find them for everybody, especially Mand. Like Mand was in position to basically be neck and neck with you for first, but he suffered the ugliest of fates of just going through cave after cave searching for the stones, and I'm pretty certain that he last located them. I think he went everywhere else first.
Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else he could have looked for them.
here's Aaron that just joined in. GG, man.
Hey, GG Ziggy.
Yeah, certainly GG's to both of you. Aaron, how did you feel about this seed?
I completely botched the beginning of it, just thinking I could be more aggressive than I was and doing some really dumb stuff. I feel like once I got the armor, I played the rest of the seed almost perfect, like straight down to the T, but just constantly like getting agitated about how that beginning grind just felt terrible. I don't know. What did you grind on, Ziggy?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning grind felt terrible, and the whole time I was doing it, I was thinking, oh my god, someone must have found something faster than this. Someone must have found something faster than this, but I have nothing else. I gotta continue. I felt it was wrong the whole time, but I guess it wasn't.
Now, from having watched the both of you playing it, it certainly seems like that was kind of the big difference. And like you say, once you ended up, Aaron, once you ended up getting the armor, it was there was just no play you made that was wrong at that point. It looked like it was just a straight up shot to the end there, with Mand being a lot slower finding the stones. I think that was the difference between you and Mand, was with everything that had gone on, Mand ended up being a few levels ahead experience-wise, but when he ended up looking for the stones, just completely went down every dead end you could possibly go down.
Yeah, there were a few places I didn't go, but I'm glad that I let the chest locations kind of guide me. I almost went the wrong way for the stones right there at the end, and wound up, thankfully, I was like, wait, no, there's still one chest I haven't checked, and that big gross Sherlock 2 floor, so I wandered over there, and then that stairway was right to it.
I went into that stairway about 10 minutes before I explored it, and I went like, nah, this is the long way. I've got more to check that's gonna be faster. And then I left it, and then I did caves for about 10 minutes before I went back to it. I could have finished that one like in 48 minutes, something like that. But sadly, this is how Stair Shuffle goes. And that's why we both love it and hate it at the same time.
I just love it. I felt like I was happy that worked out that way, that we had some stuff in there, because it always feels like a little bit of, oh, okay, if you don't get something fun out of this Stair Shuffle. Like, I mean, Sherlock was easy, although I imagine most people probably, went right first. It's like, oh, mountain, never mind.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened every time as well, yeah. Everybody just kind of went right and then came right back out, and all of a sudden you're in the basement.
There was a zone that I wish I would have explored a little bit more, but by the time I got there, I was so raging about how bad everything seemed to be going at the beginning, which, if you take a step back, realizes like, wait, I'm mad at myself for being stupid and doing some, dumb things. But I found that rogue scorpion, and I kind of wish I would have went back there because it seemed like a heavy caster, and if I could stop spell it, that was meat. That was free.
There were wizards in that zone as well.
No, well, the wizards aren't free, but yeah, I went after the token early, and it was entirely because I was hoping for a fun treasure card to get me some experience to help. I was trying to find some sort of shortcut, which the problem is once you abandon the grind initially and then you'll almost like double down on it because you're like, okay, now I gotta kind of find something, but never really abandoned it. It was just like I kept fighting the stupid Wraith Knights for some reason and getting murdered.
Oh,
Yeah,
those things
someone
weren't leaving
got
you
burned.
alone.
Oh, man just finished.
Yeah, Mand just finished as well. So GG's in the chat to Mand with a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 16 seconds. Now, Mand had some interesting play at the start here as well. We'll talk to him about when he gets in here.
Also, we see like how players played this differently when exploring or when grinding. Me and Man have 6 deaths. Aaron has 16, and Stags, I'm guessing, explored a lot. He has 24.
Yeah, I'm excited to get Mand in here. I didn't want to talk about it when it was just the two of you, but once Mand gets in, the play at the start was kind of the talk of the chat for a while.
The story of Stags for you guys is that he missed that gold chest on the right side of Tantagel at the start, so he missed the gold grind. So he only had to go with the copper sword and large shield instead of flame and magic.
Ouch. Did anybody skip the flute?
I didn't, but it's mostly because I just want to make DK angry.
I think I killed like 8 or 10 golems. They were the vast majority of my experience once we got moving. They were very nice.
Well, I ended up not using the flute against them because they had the L1 breath, and I figured it wasn't worth the time, so I just swung at them straight up.
Is Stax missing the sword?
I'm pretty sure he does not have the sword yet. We did have a variety of technical difficulties during this race. Recently lost power at one point, so it's been a bit of a scramble to try to keep track of what's going on. Like, I've pulled the race time raw feed for like half the race, so it's been a bit tricky to figure out who has what.
It was right around the time everyone was exploring too, so keeping track of who had found what was a little bit tricky.
Yeah, I see Sayaka in chat saying that the golems helped. Yeah, I didn't feel strong on experience, but I had enough to be exploring a little bit, and I don't know. That felt like I needed to do that sort of thing. If I sat around and grinding, I was just chasing you guys, and I needed to do something a little different.
Yeah, DK said in chat that he thinks you made up probably 5 minutes by doing that, and I would say that seems pretty close to accurate. Like, you were pretty far behind at one point, and you were able to overtake Mand while he was searching for the stones. So it's a bit of a rally on your part.
Yeah, pretty quick one as well. It was like you say, you did everything right after the armor there, and it was once Mand started getting lost in the caves, you caught up right quick.
Yeah, I do feel like when I got the sword, that was really good. Like, that play that I did that led to the sword, I don't know if people were going to do it at my level. Like, they're probably a little bit cave shy, but it felt pretty good. I don't know. I also didn't bother grinding till Radiant, which I kind of was grinding my teeth a little bit on. Like, that's something sometimes you do. Like, well, I'm going to need levels. I might as well just keep going on. I think I fought that Axe Knight once, and then one of them ambushed me on the way out. That's
on the way out, yeah.
That's like the least I've ever fought a good grind in
Yeah.
sleep, I think.
Oh, no, everything was.
Whoops, sorry. Go.
No, go ahead. I was just about to say that everything was about as efficient as it could possibly be on your screen at that point. So, and sorry, go ahead, Ziggy.
Yeah, I wish I had started diving earlier, also, because I ended up running away from encounters for a long time once I hit level 18. I could have killed like quite a few more golems and stuff. There was good experience available in the caves, and there was no red enemies. I don't know if you noticed. I didn't see a red dragon at all in the caves. I didn't see a knight. I saw only one outside. Was very free on that.
I got really close on that armored knight. Like everything had worked out really well at the end there too. Like once I got the stones, my entry cave was grave, so right next to the jerk cave. And I was like, I was, the reason why I went in that way and not walking through mountain was specifically for that reason. And it worked out. I figured it saved me more time walking a little bit more. And it was good.
So we've got Mand in the channel here as well with us now. So Mand, GG, and let's get your thoughts too about the start of this race. Everybody's looking forward to hearing about that.
GG. Just to clarify, putting on the death necklace was an accident, but the second I did it, I was like, I could take this off, but I've got flame sword. I'm breaking a lot of things. I'm just gonna go try to fight something.
Yeah, he had it on starting at level 6, guys, and he kept it on the entire seed.
I was fighting the wolves, and I thought I had another herb, and I didn't, so I accidentally ended up putting the Death Necklace on, and I get to Breckenary, and I'm like, well, actually, with Flame Sword and Death Necklace, I can probably just go on and take on Race, Wizards, a bunch of other stuff that I maybe wouldn't want to fight right now otherwise. Yeah, sure.
Take it off, but it feels so good.
Pretty much.
All right, let's get GG's in the chat as well for Stags, who's just finished and is about to clock in here.
It's actually quite an accomplishment to finish this in about an hour 10 without the opening gold grind. Like, that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I think if you take that into effect and the fact that also GG7Z, that it took you two fights, like this was all really, really close.
Yeah, I'm glad I managed to still beat Stags. No offense to Stags, because I didn't want to mention the wrist, but yeah,